Name drop, X-Men, X-Men, name drop, X-Men, name drop, X-Men name drop, and a little bit of X-Men name drop. We're talking about Got Your Six. Join us now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Fight for freedom wherever there's trouble.
G.I. Joe is there.
You got this right.
International hero.
I feel good.
They ruined it. They ruined it after
safe.
the series.
The song was written by Michael Bay.
Oh, that was nice. It was
The explosions were hand choreographed.
personally from him, huh?
Made
did it all
in
himself.
sand and then animated with real fire.
Okay.
7 people died creating this animated intro.
Well, I mean, sometimes, it's worth the cause for the greater good.
Exactly.
R.I.P. Chris Latta, the voice of Cobra Commander.
Oh,
And
man.
Starscream.
Oh, wow.
I don't know where we're going. Guys, welcome to the after show for The Gifted, Season 1, Episode...
6.
Thank you.
Got
Got
your...
your 6.
Oh, yeah.
What letters
Or I
capitalized?
guess if Cobra Commander did it be 6.
Cobra!
There we go.
Okay, guys, we were talking about the episode. It was an action-packed episode.
Yes.
Lots of cool stuff happened. We get the X-Men name drop. We're going to talk about that right off the bat because it's just like... It actually ties in our storylines with kind of the greater picture right off the bat, which is great. But before we get into that, you can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, StephenLemieux. And where can we find you guys joining me today?
What's up, everyone? I'm Steph Sabraw. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Steph Sabraw.
Hey guys, Rick Hong here. You guys can find me on all social media at Rick Hong, RICKHONG.
And me, you can find me online at OneYoungsta, which is ONEYOUNGSTA.
Okay, so this episode has a lot of moving parts, so we're going to have to do a lot of analytics and not have as much of a fun time today.
We'll still have fun.
We'll have fun, but we won't be able to dive off the deep end like we have. As one of our commenters on 2 weeks ago commented,
Ooh.
Are you guys drunk? So it's not going to be one of those episodes today. But first off, I want to talk about John's history, because it opens up with a flashback to John, Thunderbird we're talking about, and then we also get a huge reveal later in the episode when he's talking to Dreamer. So the episode opens up with right after the events of July 15th, where he is a Army veteran or military veteran who served 2 tours, and basically he's collecting donations for the mutants who were affected by July 15th. So this is an interesting point in time because it's before the huge restrictions have come out and everyone's completely desolidified the mutants' place in society, but it's also like everyone hates the mutants because
they're not happy about it at all.
Yeah, so what did you guys think of this scene?
Well, for me, I thought it was a great way to give context into the other side, because we saw Jace's side. So we got to see we didn't get to see the protest itself, but we got to see like just regular everyday people. And in this case, we got to see regular everyday people that were mutants. It's like, hey, I'm a mutant, but I went to the military. I lived a normal life. I go to the store, I have a job, I just do regular things, and then still being, kind of like hit with this, like, we hate you guys, and then of course like the grenade and everything, so
that looked like a prop straight out of Tremors. Like, let me be honest. You know those PVC bombs they made in Tremors? They went fishing with? That was straight out of that. They dove into that prop department for that.
It's like a flashlight.
It's like, is that a flashlight? Don't worry about it. But I do like that it was, this guy's kind of trying to do the right thing. Thunderbird's been like the stand-up guy, and he's trying to do the right thing. Hey, we're taking donations. There were humans hurt, but there were, mutants hurt as well, and they were not feeling it. Most people were like, no, I wouldn't even give them a dime. So it provides more context until after that event, it was all downhill.
This isn't necessarily like related to the storyline of the show, but what I did appreciate about this scene was you did see like probably like a real vet that lost like an amputee in the scene.
Oh,
and I really appreciated that. I
Yeah.
really appreciated that, like, hey, you know, like, we'll put someone
Real.
real in there as opposed to just like we just have these like background
Yeah.
players. So it was really cool that they incorporated
Yeah.
that for this scene to kind of give just a little bit more like realism in terms of like how people go about trying to get donations and this part of the storyline.
Yeah. I really liked it because I feel like this episode in particular had a lot of character development for John, and you kind of see also the parallel it draws between when a group of people is oppressed time after time again and years after years, they're gonna react, and John's always the one who wants to follow the rules and do it the best way without getting hurt. And now you see him in this episode saying we gotta change the game because it's just time after time again they keep losing by trying to keep people safe, and it's just not working. So I like that, and I think this was the best episode I've seen him being character and everything.
Yeah, that's a solid statement because it's really kind of telling us who he is, because before he was just kind of the meathead who had super strength and random powers that are similar to telekinesis. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like being able to sense things like in that way. I thought it was interesting because it really like goes like they really cast the roles for the people who hated on them as like the people who you would assume be very pro-military, like you know that kind of like driving the truck kind of thing. So it's also a commentary on the treatment of our veterans based on, okay, you did your service, great, but oh, you're
Now
gay,
we don't
you're gay, we don't like you, or oh, you're associated with this, we don't like you. Oh, you did 2 tours in Iraq, oh, you're Muslim, we don't like you, like that kind of thing. Like,
Totally.
you know, everyone in their mind is like, yeah, we support our military, but when it gets down to it, after they get out, do you still support them, no matter who they are, even though they may have done more in terms of legality or for the country than a citizen has? So that was kind of a poignant political commentary they added into the show. And, you know, I really feel sorry for whoever's car that was.
Oh, the Nissan.
Imagine coming out.
The
You're
Nissan
coming out
that
of the
blew up.
grocery store. You're just like hanging out, like, all right, I'm gonna park my car right here. It's gonna be perfectly safe. There's nobody in front of me or behind me. It won't even get scratched. And then go in the store, come out like, yo, what happened?
I wish somebody could make a supercut where it's just like a Lamborghini triple parked over 3 parking like handicap spaces that he like looks for and finds and blows that up.
It's Magnum PI's car. It's like my Ferrari.
Oh, I did like how he caught the
shrapnel, the debris.
the caliper or whatever it was, because it was super clean when he caught it. But I mean, you know, hey, it didn't get a chance to get scorched because it blew up so fast.
Well, you're supposed to, because that's the most deadly things about bombs are not the explosion.
Yeah.
Grenades are the same way. It's not the explosion that kills people, it's the shrapnel.
It's the shrapnel,
So
yeah.
like that kind of thing, like you see, okay, even though that's what it's showing, is that even though in that moment with the time he had, he threw it away from people still were going to be hurt if somebody without mutant powers was there. So that shrapnel would have probably decapitated that lady.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just showing that like even something as simple as that, like she was just somebody who was there. We're not even assuming she was a mutant. Like
She was just a regular passerby.
yeah, they're just doing an attack on people.
And that was a boss move to catch it the way he did too. He was like,
Yeah.
got this.
Yeah.
superhero
Like a
punch.
frisbee.
And then I want to move forward to a little bit later in the episode where we have John talking to Dreamer about the war. And he reveals some pretty precise Amundo information here, saying the X-Men put me in charge of the underground. They put me in this position because they knew a war was coming, but they haven't contacted me.
Yeah.
So we learn a few things. We learned that he also has his father who is in the X-Men, and he's trying to live up to that. And we also learned that he is an X-Men.
Yeah, too. Yeah, you might as well say that. Yeah, he was an X-Men, because they wouldn't leave, you know, some just random guy like, hey, do you have powers? Yeah,
Go be in charge,
Go be
yeah.
in charge of the mutant underground.
Exactly.
But I do like how I see this tying in with like maybe a possibility of just saying, hey, we are the X-Men. We're all that's left. So we are now the X-Men. But that might be like season 2 or 3 or something like that. But I do, well, the way this is paced, but, you know, it does seem like a situation where he might, especially with his conversation with Eclipse, he might just be like, look, we're the X-Men. This is it. We don't have anything else.
Yeah, there's nobody coming to save us. We have to save
that's
ourselves.
It. There's no cavalry. Maybe we're just the X-Men now. So,
do you think he knows of resources that they can tap into because of that connection, or do you think it's...
I mean,
I didn't know
they
that
haven't
part.
contacted him, so maybe he doesn't, because it might have been a situation where it's like, hey, do this, we'll get in touch with you when we're safe or something like that. And he hasn't heard anything. Maybe they're all dead, or maybe they've all fled to whatever country, but maybe there's not. Or at least that's not positive.
I also made the assumption that he's an X-Men, but perhaps it's just his dad that was the X-Men, or the X-Man, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Who left his son and gave his son instructions, like kind of in the style of like, hey, I'm going to my death, let me give you instructions or something like that. So if he doesn't have the whole picture and his dad did, it was more like, hey, try to regroup or whatever. John Connor, like, get it done. I don't know. I mean, it opens up the door. At least we know that there's actually... Because before it was just, oh, the X-Men disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now it's, oh, the X-Men disappeared, but they gave instructions to people to do certain things.
They know
so
where he exists.
Perhaps there's a plan, perhaps there's not. I don't know.
Or maybe there was a plan 6 months, a year, 2 years ago, and now that plan is, it's thrown out.
All I know for sure is that next episode, their base has to be raided or the show is unrealistic. Because you have every single place being, like, flooded with Sentinel service agents for the past two episodes, right? And everyone is being flooded out and everyone's being forced out. And you're telling me that they can't track a bunch of escaping mutants to one location?
Well... The only reason I think that might not work, or I mean, the reason they're getting away with it is the fear guy. People kind of like staying away due to the fear, so maybe they'll overlook it because it's like, oh, whenever you get there, you feel like this dread or fear or whatever. Yeah, so maybe they'll think that not to look there because it's. It makes people scary. It's a haunted place. Nobody could be in there.
They can't be smart enough to track a truck that says Denver from a single cop that goes to Baton Rouge and set up an ambush without anything and triangulate the position of people based on that, so leaving us to need to put Reed as bait in a certain position to make them not able to triangulate. You can't do all of that and have the Sentinel services be this intelligent without needing to be within distance of the location. The fear guy only works if you're driving up to it. Like, they have satellites, they have all this stuff, they're taking the phone numbers.
That might be what the extra mutants are for, too. That might be what the extra mutants are for, because they were like, hey, we can't take this many. Maybe they're setting up for, like you said, like a raid of some sort, where they end up arresting or, grabbing, like 30, 40 more mutants or something like that.
Yeah, there's too many people going to this one location for it not to...
Yeah.
Plus, they also have, like, hey, we're overboarded with rooms and stuff. Like, oh, I don't even have a bed. Yet there's still, like, a room just full of random furniture that they haven't cleared out to let people sleep in.
Sometimes you gotta keep the junk somewhere.
You have to
keep the junk somewhere.
You have to have a quiet moment with the teen dream. There's like it's like, hey,
you want to meet me in the furniture room?
I'm new. I'm a new kid. Look at this beautiful smile. Look at this luscious hair.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
she's like, ooh.
I mean, you're not wrong in the sense of like we're at the halfway point of the series.
Yeah.
So they've got to they've done some establishing. They've kind of set up some relationships, and now it's like, okay, let's get on the move. And not to jump ahead yet, but like we also see like there's the training. The training sequence kind of looks like it's building towards something too. So like I kind of don't disagree with you on that, Stephen.
And John started building a wall. What it seems is that he's building for backup, right? Just in case of attack with that scene with
like
Dreamer.
Some way to kind of fend off.
Yeah, so they could be expecting that, which means it could be in the next few episodes.
I think it has to be. Excuse me. I think it has to be next episode. Because I think. And the
cartel. We'll get to. Yeah, and with Jace. So
with Marcos gone, dealing with the cartel thing next episode. With us going on this trial and this adventure with Clarice leaving for now, we're kind of spreading people out so that there can be a main focal point at the place for them to have to return to save everyone.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the breadcrumbs are there for next episode to be a huge fight.
The attack. I have to go back, save my friends, kind of thing.
And Jace is going to catch someone.
Yeah, and even though this episode had action, it was really dialogue packed, and the plot line moved forward in terms of character development. Yeah. So I would expect next episode to be really big.
Yeah, because it is kind of like the calm before the storm. It's like, why are you teaching us so much?
They got
and we're seeing the development of more powers.
You're teaching us a whole bunch of stuff. What's about to happen?
And they get the big win by getting all the files, actually.
Yeah. And, of course, nobody cares about a court order. It's a family show, guys.
Nobody cares about a court order. I mean, didn't a rapper just go to jail recently? because he disobeyed his parole. So let's move into Clarice and John. So we have a scene between Clarice and John where he's just like, "Hey, we need you to do this," and she's like, "Is that all we're gonna talk about?"
And I'm glad they handled it the way they did.
Yeah,
because they don't stretch those things out.
But it's also that, like, it's in a way that you're not like John's an asshole for not bringing it up, because it's been his idea that Dreamer should be the one to talk to her about it, not him. So he's been like, she did this without my knowledge, so I shouldn't be the one to talk to you about it.
Kind of like letting her take the lead, I guess.
Yeah, but of course Dreamer's trying to just brush it under the rug, and Clarice is, in her mind, it's John and Dreamer teaming up because they were the couple.
Yeah.
So like all of the relationships make sense in how the people are reacting, which is always nice. But Clarice, obviously, and how he puts it is, you know, there were still people to say, okay, so I'm a slave, kind of. Like that's.
So
yeah.
I'm just here to.
You're just gonna make me love you until I'm
done.
done, and then you're gonna just.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I feel like John took a lot more heat for it than he should have. He was like, you know, even when he was talking to Dreamer, he's like, you know, we shouldn't have done that. And I feel like that was kind of weird because the prior episodes he made it clear he did not okay that. He did not tell her to do that, but he does realize that it did have to happen. But I feel like he took the heat
for the overall
a lot.
And speaking of that, Dreamer tried to like be funny later on. She was like, "We didn't even need a portal to do it." It's like, no, what you did was wrong. Regardless of portals, you got to remember you were wrong.
Yeah,
God, she's just the worst. She's the worst character. I just don't like her.
Hey, but she's hot, man. So.
God, it's just. I feel like every time
She is
she's on
beautiful.
screen, it's just syrup. Like, she's a great actress. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't
it's
mean
just
it,
the character.
I don't mean in that.
We don't like the character.
the character, right.
All of the uplifting emotions get just dragged into this syrup that's on the screen, and she's like, "Well, you know, I don't know why we want to do that. I could just."
And then she hits you with the pouty lips.
Yeah, it's just, well, John.
That beautiful red hair.
And it's
I'm Poison Ivy, but I'm not.
Right.
But it's like it's good because they've created a character that elicits an emotional response from us, but she's just bad.
Yeah,
it's like you kind of like love to hate her, but at the same time you're like, you were wrong. No, you didn't try to like throw a sneak diss at Clarice. You're like, we didn't even need a portal. No, that's not the point. You were wrong, regardless of whether she should make portals.
Throw some shade, man.
Yeah, whether you can make portals or not, you were
she's
wrong.
Just super narcissistic.
Okay.
And this whole thing was just to get closer to John again, because that's what she got in the end.
She got.
Hey, there's this new girl that John's interacting with. What can drive them apart? By me just inserting, like, it's literally like the memory third wheel. Like, let me just insert this memory third wheel into you.
Yeah.
Because, again, when Clarice asked John, like, was that moment between us real? You know, it very well could have been. He could have been, from the beginning, kind of interested
Kind
in
of feeling
Clarice.
Which I
and
thought
everything.
he was.
Yeah.
I think he was too, but
So this was a power play by Dreamer to insert herself into something that could be developing outside of her because she can't deal with it.
yeah.
And
Because if I can't have him, nobody else can.
And now that Clarice is out of the picture, she makes her move pretty quick.
Yeah, she was not. You know what? That is some masterful gameplay. Now that you say, she's like, some girl,
some dame play.
Oh, snap! Wow, that's good. That's good.
Hashtag dame play.
I love it.
because it's she sees a new girl come in. I don't like this.
That's right. So don't hate the player, hate the dame.
It looks like you might like her. Let me just put some lovemaking memories in her mind
My goodness.
to make it weird.
Yeah, to
That
make it
is weird.
super weird.
Wait, what's your power? I make stuff really weird.
It's like, what do you mean by that?
Here.
Watch.
You guys.
You want a memory of yourself making out with me? Suddenly it's really weird.
It's like, that actually is really weird. Is that what you
One
do to
time I
everybody?
met
You
the
guys
in-laws.
talking about this is so weird.
It's like, yeah, that is really weird. Like, do you just go around doing that to people?
Yes. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. She's just super narcissistic, so I don't see John being dumb enough to fall for it really, because he's like giving it a little bit, but I think he's like not completely okay with it, and I think he's gonna have to make a choice, and he might choose Clarice over.
Yeah,
Well, the
I
thing
think-
about him is he's a big picture guy.
Yeah.
He's a big picture guy. Like, I don't buy that he would let a distraction happen if it's not for the overall good of the group.
Yeah, and I think that's why he didn't say anything about the relationship aspect or like liking her, because she was like, was any of that real? He's like, well, if I say it is real, then we have to go down this relationship path. Right now, I'm literally the guy in charge of this. It's like him, Clarice, Eclipse. So it's like, him, Polaris, Eclipse. So it's like, you know, I don't have time to like do the relationship thing.
How is he supposed to fall for somebody or be involved with somebody who doesn't even know if their feelings for him are somebody else's or theirs?
Good
like
point.
it's a really weird situation. So I don't know where it's gonna go, but it's certainly
it's like a girl who breaks up with a boyfriend and wants to start dating you, and you're like, do you really like me, or do you just want to be alone?
But yeah, so that was Clarice and John. That was also John and Dreamer again. Syrup on the screen. I make things weird.
We didn't need a portal anyway.
Yeah, we get introduced to Wes.
yeah.
Wes is the new mutant who looks like
Teen Dream.
What's the guy from Fantastic Four, the newer one?
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller.
He looks like Miles Teller mixed with one of our AfterBuzz hosts, Ryan Malady, and he has the same personality. If you know Ryan, or if you've seen Ryan, he's got the same and his power is the power of seduction.
Yeah, his power is the power of being.
Wait, is that Ryan Malady or is it Miles Teller? I'm just kidding.
This character in the show, Wes, his power is illusion, but basically he's just got the powers of seduction. Like literally, that's all he's like. He's like
win you over.
Yeah, like hey, I want to train, but like hey, check out these flowers. Oh man, girl, you doing some work? What if your job is done?
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me just make all these problems disappear.
That is so true. I didn't think about that.
He was laying his game down quite flat the whole episode, and it was nice to see that. Yes, it was, you know, your basic, you know, kind of like new guy.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, aren't you guys in some kind of like abandoned place? How's your hair so nice? But don't ask those questions. Okay?
He's like actually bald and he takes it off.
Yeah. Like
his whole face is an illusion. He's actually,
that would be messed up. But that would be a cool power.
He takes the illusion down.
It's like Star Trek. It's like that. It's like one of the Cage. It's like the episode of Star Trek where.
Well, it reminded me. Actually, I don't know if you guys have seen Stranger Things too. I don't want to.
Oh yeah,
I know you have. It reminded me of
We've
that.
seen it.
Of that.
No,
girls.
it definitely reminded me of that, but I don't want to bring it up because I don't know who hasn't seen Stranger Things. But you know, I don't know.
Oh man, that's good.
But I liked him, and I really liked his powers. To bring it back to that, I do like what he has to offer, and I do like seeing Lauren in. I liked Lauren's role when their dialogue. I feel like it showed you a little more about her. I loved how she was helping out because she did acknowledge they are the reason everyone got kicked out, basically. Yeah. So, and she's just doing a better job than Andy.
It's cool to see like a different type of power.
Yeah.
You know, like even when we were sitting on this panel a couple of weeks ago, you know, where it's like, what would you do? I'd fly, or I'd be invisible, or I'd, you know, whatever. But like this one, like I don't think I've ever seen someone sit there and say, I would give the illusion that things are done.
Yeah.
Or as Stephen says, seduction.
It's the illusion of politics.
Illusions of seduction.
Hey, let me show you Rome and call it something else. Oh my God.
Teen
Go
dreams.
clean your room. It's clean, Mom. Look. Oh,
It's clean. Look.
You can go play.
You want to get out of here? We already are out of here. You've been at my place the whole time. No, creepy. Yeah, so he could do if he and Dreamer teamed up, that would be an interesting combination of powers.
Yeah, man, that'd be bad.
Because like if him and Dreamer teamed up, she could use her powers on somebody thinking it's one person and it's somebody else. Like he could make her think she's using it on John when she's using it on somebody else.
Oh my goodness.
So that would be interesting.
I could imagine if those two had a baby, then you'd have a really messed up.
I like that they're moving forward with people having stronger powers faster. It's kind of like a big boon for the more they use their powers, the faster they're developing. Like, because this kid, like Wes, like the fact that he did what he did in the truck heist, like, I imagine that's pretty difficult to do.
Yeah, because he hit a truck and created two. So that's a lot. But he stepped his game up fast. You know, he came to the play, and I was, you know, I'm glad he stepped his game up. So.
But alongside that, you have Lauren, who can create a shield that an entire semi-truck can drive over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have Andy, who can previously 2 episodes needed his sister to focus his powers on one point, but now can use his powers to open a sliver of a wall underground in a place that could easily collapse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But concentrated.
Like if it was me and Andy was like, I can help, and it was like, okay, cool, let's go to the bottom floor of a parking structure, I'd be like, Andy, just don't do anything.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, just don't get mad. Here's like Legos. Just build something. Wait, no, not Legos. You'll get frustrated. Here's a blow whistle or something. Just like have fun.
I did love that the whole aspect of this episode when they were developing their powers and telling us that Lauren and Andy are way more powerful than people who have come in before, and Polaris teaching people. It made me feel like really even more excited about it because it just brings in a different idea about what they're capable of. And I loved Lauren. I feel like Lauren, this episode showed she's going to be a big leadership role. Like, she really has stepped up every time she's needed to.
Among Generation X.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Andy is so worrisome. Like, there was good points, and then there was points where I was like, oh my gosh, Andy, chill out.
Well, we see where it comes from now. His dad has been instilling insecurity in him who knows how long. Just by, make better choices and, like, treating him like he's not able enough to or old enough to handle it. And it seems like he's sheltered Andy for a while, probably because he got picked on, and it just kind of kept going from, who knows, like 3rd grade or whatever.
Yeah.
And it seems like he sheltered him and made him insecure. And now Andy has some strength, and of course that power dynamic changes. He wants to use it all the time. And instead of kind of helping him navigate that, his dad gets scared of his new strength and then snaps back, and it doesn't work.
Well, it's more that his dad, to protect him, is refusing to give him the tools to protect himself. In terms of, you look at the school thing with the bullies and stuff, like, there could be a lot of advice you give your son in that instance, but instead he goes to the counselor and makes a big deal of it. So it's like, that's the reason why this all happened in the first place kind of thing, like all that kind of stuff. So it's more that now, it's funny, you have Marcos, whose parents abandoned him, helping Reed deal with Andy and giving him advice and the way it's working out. But then at the end, when Andy wants to come in the building, it's like, again, that is a moment where Andy probably shouldn't come in the building.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that he's like yelling at him in those respects, but I also think that it's a good thing that he tells him he uses powers responsibly. Like,
yeah. So
there's a fine line that they're kind of
playing with.
They're trying to figure it out, because,
and I do like the fact that he heard his dad say those sentimental things about him, like, look, I just care about my son, and I'm scared mostly, blah, blah, blah. When he went, paraphrasing, guys, on that, when he was talking one-on-one with Marcos, talking about having a child and everything. And so I'm glad he heard that, because, at the base of it, his dad is just scared, because we went from going to school and, going out to eat, on the weekend, maybe a movie or something. And now we're in a rebellion, pretty much. We're fugitives. Just a week ago, we were hanging out.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing is his dad's also human. So he has no idea how to, what it is to harness the type of power like that Andy has. And we still haven't figured out, how massive it is in terms of his powers. And
it's also slightly a commentary on gun control laws as well.
Right, I was thinking the same thing.
In terms of mutants being the guns, and you have a teenager who is dealing with this problem and suddenly wields the power over them in the form of mutant powers as opposed to a gun, but how does he use that, and what are the stipulations for if somebody is allowed to control that level of power over other people, and how they can use it responsibly, or if they're going to end up doing Columbine kind of stuff. So it's true. It plays at the show plays at a lot of different angles subtly, without beating you over the head with what exactly they're talking about, because it gets really annoying when shows just literally are like, oh, you're this political affiliation? Well, we hate you because we're going to talk about this. You know what I mean? So it's playing it really smart and making it available to everyone. I do want to take a moment to thank everyone who went to iTunes and rated us 5 stars and gave us a review. Please continue to do so. I'm refreshing the page right now so I can make sure that I get anyone who just last minute decided to get this in. But the way you can support our show, we do it every week. We give it to you guys for free. The way you can support us is go to iTunes, search The Gifted, click on the Gifted AfterBuzz TV After Show link. You'll see a picture of Rick as Andy, and then we have
that alone is a 5-star.
The picture is nice and fun. It's our thumbnail if you're looking at it right now. Shout out to Anakin J.K. Gatsby, says, we can be the better man. We already are. You guys are freaking incredible. So great to hear from both Michael and Stephen again since the ending of Sleepy Hollow and Jedi Alliance. I really love the panel. You guys love the show and fairly and peaceful, and it's peaceful to hear. I'm a huge fan of this show. Very surprising given the fact that they create mutants for the show, even though they have thousands from the comics that they could have explored. Nonetheless, I'm loving what I'm hearing. Keep the puns coming. Joyful Kia says, awesome panel. I approve of all of you. 5 stars. Happy day. Thanks for your review. I'm a huge fan of you guys. I love hearing your wonderful insights and opinions on my favorite show. Thank you so much for supporting quality shows. You all are perceptive and think outside the box, which helps me to think of these fictional characters in wonderful ways. You definitely challenge me intelligently, so I applaud you for that. So thanks, guys, for geeking out about my favorite show. You guys rock. Also, shout out to Michael B85. This is the second review by him, I think.
Thanks, Michael.
The X-Men Disappearance. Michael says, I was thinking about the Dallas incident. Didn't the X-Men go missing into the siege perilous while on a mission in Dallas? And could we see Forge and other second-tier mutants and villains, i.e. the Morlocks and Arcade? I don't think they're going to pull that out quite yet, and if they do, it's going to be like way later on.
Because it would pull us too much out of the world that they're trying to build. I think if they did that, all of a sudden it's like, whoa.
That would be like worlds colliding there. I think too much. Like you would need a separate series, and then have that be a crossover episode. I would have to think because it's just
unless we like ease into it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what Steven says. Like maybe some seasons down the road. Right?
Yeah. I just want to focus on this show staying as good as it's consistently been.
Yeah.
And let's get 3 or 4 seasons under our belt. I want the show to be as consistent as like Arrow. Just get it to that level where it's just everyone you have no doubt it's going to be there next season, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be like, oh, is it going to get picked up? Is it going to be picked up? Like, I just want to be like comfortable knowing that
Arrow, Flash, stuff like that, you know it's going to be here. It's kind of like you kind of know.
Let us have the comfort knowing that we're going to get stories moving forward before we bring in Morlocks and before we bring Apocalypse into the fold and before we start bringing in random stuff like that.
Because it gets convoluted, boy.
You could bring in Apocalypse to a show like this and have it be done well. You would just need it to be like...
You would need like 8 seasons of context.
Or less world ending. Because Apocalypse is just like... Again, the greatest thing about the cartoons with Apocalypse was the build-up and the breadcrumbs spread throughout. And the fact that it wasn't like, let's stop Apocalypse. It's, let's stop Apocalypse from coming back.
Yeah, it's... Because you're looking at... When Apocalypse came in the animated series, you're looking at like maybe 3 or 4 seasons of like build-up. And we had a lot more context. Yeah. Instead of
you know what you're doing instead of just let's hang out in the desert for 30 minutes of a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
Sorry if you guys liked X-Men Apocalypse, but I thought it was kind of terrible. Cool. So moving on, but hey, Logan made up for it more than in spades.
Yeah.
Let's move on. So we get introduced to 2 other mutants. We don't get their names. One boy has, I guess, ice powers. I don't know. Did you guys get a glimpse of that?
The water kid?
No, that's the water girl. She's a water bender. Her name's Korra, and she's from the Legend of Korra.
And she's super cool. And
no, sorry, her name's not Korra. It's
I know, but I don't know what her name was. But when I saw the water, I was like, oh, there is so much you can do with that.
Yeah.
I was like, she's gonna be so boss because be like the nature of water.
Katara is from Avatar. That's right, the waterbender. And then the kid who Kate was talking to, basically like when he was using his powers 3 times a day, so he has high blood pressure.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious, was that ice? He only used it for a second. It looked like sharp needles of something.
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
I don't know exactly what his powers were.
We need better CGI, damn it.
That was an interesting look into how everybody's powers, because we saw that everybody's powers don't manifest or aren't used the same or don't affect us the same. Like, Marcos, he can usually grab in light, but grabbing in that much light for that specific period of time was tough for him. It strained him. And then, Andy was like, hey, it's kind of just like yelling, but it's kind of like, setting yourself free or like letting go or, and then this kid is like, hey, I have to use my powers over and over and over again. And it's actually putting me in danger.
It's giving me high blood pressure.
Nicholas Kelly in the chat says his name is Skylar, which they did say, and her name is Naya. Naya.
Thank you.
So hopefully we'll be seeing more of the new generation X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going in.
I heard it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really think it was weird seeing Kate still on this whole normalcy plan. I really want her to ditch
Yeah.
that. I mean, I get that it's like a cornerstone of her character to be like, the world should be a good
Mother.
place and everyone's happy and I'm the mother and whatever, but like, it's bordering on annoying. Like,
Yeah, because
everyone's focused on staying alive and making sure that nobody's getting killed. She just did surgery on somebody who got shot because he was a mutant.
Yeah.
And she's like,
She
hey
wants to make a
guys,
school.
I got some damn homework for y'all.
And you see Polaris kind of just really over her. I mean, she
Yeah.
respected her at the end by making sure in her own Polaris way if she can take Lauren with her.
Yeah.
But it's kind of getting exhausting because it's just kind of, it's ignorant. And so
Yeah.
I hope that, because last episode and the episode she kept making strides. So I'm like, this is it. She's on
Yeah.
board. She's ready. And then she wasn't.
I think they just need to give her a role. Like, honestly, idle
Well, I thought
hands
it
at
was
the
gonna, I
devil's
thought it,
playground.
well, I
you
thought
know?
it was going to be like she was going to be kind of like the
doctor,
the
nurse.
doctor,
The doctor,
nurse
right.
kind of person. I thought that's how she was going to feel it. And then she was talking about teaching the kids and everything. So I'm like, cool, that can kind of be her role. But I mean, you've been here.
Yeah,
Like,
June Cleaver doesn't work.
yeah, you've been here. They're chasing us. They want to put us in jails, and not regular jails, jails that nobody knows where they are. And you've already seen they have one mutant that they're forcing to use his powers on other mutants. So it's not even that they don't want mutants to use their powers. No, they want to control our powers, which is a whole different game. So it's like, what do
And
you,
ship
what do you
off
want?
all of the raid every house sympathizer.
Yeah.
Bring them all in. Have your husband, who was a prosecutor, go on to the other side, get taken by them to jail. Or
Oh, and
whatever they were
your
doing.
mother or mother-in-law, I can't remember, but
Yeah,
mother-in-law
interrogated.
Mother-in-law.
her.
I
Mother-in-law.
want to see her again.
Sharon
Bring her
Glass.
back.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna
So-
see Sharon Glass.
It's like even Polaris said, she was like, "This is it. This is it. They're gonna be hated for the rest of their life. Like there's
So here's
That's it.
here's the issue though as well with our commentary is that she's not wrong in that they need some normalcy, and that's why you saw Xavier's School for Mutants being a school and a place where they teach them how to use their powers.
Yeah.
I think Polaris and Kate need to come together on a curriculum for learning how to use their powers.
Right.
And I think that's what, because to be fair, you know, I do dislike the fact that she's like, oh, here's homework and whatever. To be fair, though, you walk in, your daughter maybe has powers, and you're like, okay, but you walk in and somebody has magnetic powers and they're about to fling a saw blade at your daughter.
Yeah.
Reactions would be different.
Well, yeah,
I
and,
agree.
and I'm not a mom, so I can't say, but I know, like, we were just running from these, like, roly things, and of
Yeah.
course she doesn't know what they're called, so these roly things that can kill us.
Yeah.
All right, maybe she does need to train.
Well, and
Maybe-
also on your point of combining, it is true that a lot of these powers are elements or parts of the environment. So if you could learn literally the curriculum of that and then harness your powers better with that knowledge.
True.
Yeah, you got to know physics if you want to make something fall to make it do something
Yeah,
else. And
know
use your
where to
telekinetic-
hit it.
So, welcome, class, to the Polaris School for Mutants. If you can
I
dodge
love
a hammer,
that.
you can dodge a ball.
I would join her school so
These
quick.
are the 6 rules of being a mutant. Dive, duck, dip, dodge, and dive.
And dive.
And that was 5.
That is Polaris.
Oh man, the only thing is you can already see.
Dodge,
I mean,
duck, dip,
Polaris.
dive, and dodge.
Polaris is, and I know this is going to come off bad, but Polaris is not the type of person that should be a teacher because we've already seen that the young boys can't focus. All right, they're trying to holler at her. All right, you need like Miss Doubtfire to teach.
That's the young
boys.
boy's fault. The young boy should know how to get to business.
Hey, look, it's
You're
not
selling
I've been a
men
young
short.
boy. It's not gonna work. If Polaris was my teacher, she'd be like, "What's 2 + 2?" 22.
I think, though-
2 + 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3. Quick maths.
I mean, this could be like, sorry, this might be jumping a little ahead, but it could also be like a buildup of trying to get their dynamic, Polaris and Kate Strucker, like in terms of how they just did Flashlight, Flashlight, and,
Eclipse.
and not Dean, but in terms of what's it like being a father. You know, like maybe
Yeah.
if the whole idea is to say you don't know until you really know that you're going to be a mother. So maybe that's what they're kind of building towards
Yeah.
as well, to like kind of build like that divide, and then maybe they can kind of come together.
Because Polaris is going to need some of Kate's personality
And maybe that's why
traits.
she's there. I mean, I get it. She's
yeah,
annoying
good
right
point.
now. I get it.
That's true.
And you had talked about that in the beginning of the series. That like, what is her purpose?
Yeah, so
You
hopefully
pass
maybe.
butter.
So hopefully they can still or figure out a way, kind of do the school in that situation, or maybe they'll have to move somewhere else. But once again, that circles us back around to John being like, well, hey, we're the X-Men. You know, because now we got sort of our school, we got some young kids. We're about to take on some more, even though we're at like, I don't know, 75% capacity.
Somebody shave Kate's head and get her a wheelchair. We're starting this.
We're going to do this.
We're starting it.
And it's weird seeing her as Root and person of interest and knowing her attitude there, because she would have been like right in line with Polaris, like, yeah, let's teach these kids.
Throw the saw.
So keeping with Kate, we do get a audible shout out to the fact that her and Reed really haven't talked since
True.
he's come back. So at least we have the fact that they're aware of their relationship and how it's kind of in limbo right now while their kids are going and doing missions and stuff like that and being way cooler than they are.
Yeah.
Reed decides that he's going to go out and get these papers from the Baton Rouge Federal Building. And their whole plan is, okay, we'll take a truck, we'll go over to Baton Rouge, we're going to break in, but we don't have Clarice anymore because, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of syrup. That's her powers. I'm gonna call him Marcos is flashlight. Dreamer is syrup.
Oh,
and
man.
we'll continue making them as we go. So we get the truck stopped, and now we learn a little bit more about Flashlight's power. Is he's also anti-flashlight.
Yeah.
He can bend light.
That was cool.
He can
That's very
defeat
cool.
one lone officer
like-
in his flashlight.
Like you were saying how you like how this show
Oh,
takes
boy.
what they have and logically uses
Uses
it.
it.
And
Yeah.
that was logical. And because I was like, how are they going to get out of this? I had no idea. I thought Andy was going to have to break some stuff as usual.
I thought that's where I thought that's where they were going to. Is it okay? Because he was gonna do something crazy, but instead they showed us. Yeah, they flipped it around on us and showed us.
Yeah.
David Copperfield hiding the Statue of Liberty.
It just makes me think that Wes is going to be on every single mission because he's just way too useful.
Yeah.
The illusion power is just way too useful. It's like, hey, guy who can turn invisible, like, maybe go out there and get shot, but hey, let's not do that because we have a guy who can create illusions. Like, let's just use him. Flashlight. Hold for a second. You could absorb the light, but hey, illusions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we could use, the car and the guy who can turn the car invisible and get away. Illusions. Hey,
True.
we need to break into the prison and make sure none of the guards see it. Let's use Annie to break down the wall. Wait, guys.
Wait, guys.
Illusions.
It's true.
Illusion Man.
It's like putting the camera on a loop.
Yeah, he's kind of like one of the most OP
Because
mutants out there.
I was thinking, oh, they're gonna get in there and they're gonna have they're gonna dress up or whatever, like wear suits and look like they're supposed to be in a federal building. No, they broke in and it's like, hey, who are those guys that are completely out of place? See, Illusion Man could have helped them.
Yeah.
They would've had,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Like Illusion Man would have made it look like they went to
Men's
SNK's.
Warehouse.
Yeah, SNK Men's Warehouse.
And you know what?
Or
You're
just
going to
walk
compare
in.
it to Stranger Things, girl? Well, hey, she has to connect with people's minds. This is just like, physically, let's put an illusion there. Hey, you got Sentinel Jones coming after you? Illusion. You're going to have an unemployment line of mutants just out the door, and they're all going to be saying, Illusion Man took your job.
Illusion Man took my
So
job.
all he has to do is see the place or what he's putting out there, right?
Yeah, he has a mental, he has an idea of what it looks like, and then he can make it happen.
And you imagine if he teams up with Dreamer and he can create an illusion within those memories. If they team up to create
Scary.
illusion memories, they could just make people be in a paradise or wherever the hell they want and literally send them wherever they want.
It's
Yeah,
it's like
it's-
the best version of AR. It's like the
Kind of VR.
or VR. Yeah. It's the best version.
Do that to Jace or
Right?
send him away.
He doesn't.
He's getting
He doesn't care
wild.
about a court order. He's like, which phone, sir?
Oh yeah, man.
All
I'm
the
getting
phones.
Angry.
Hey, why do I just feel terrified? We have a guy to protect the place. Like, he has fear and stuff. Oh, you didn't just have your illusion guy do that?
Yeah.
I mean, you could have just made this whole thing a forest.
That's true, though. That could be what saves
The only thing is
them.
when they do the satellite check, they'll be like, hold up, there's something's missing.
Yeah.
This is a whole forest, but I see heat signatures. It's weird. It's like there's a building there, but we don't see anything.
Wait,
Illusion
guys,
Man.
wait a second. What's with all these polling booths that let us vote Republican or Democrat? Oh, that's just an illusion.
Oh man.
Oh
Just an
my
illusion.
gosh.
Swish.
The greatest power of them all, the illusion of choice.
Oh, man.
My.
Let's continue. So the heist is actually cool. They go into the building, they grab all the stuff. He burns out the PC to get the hard drives, and they make a pretty clean getaway because they have Illusion Man, because it's the most overpowered power ever.
Yeah.
They get back, and then Marcos is just chilling with Bay, and then gets a call from Side Bay.
I
Cartel
love
Bay.
Polaris and Marcos. Their dialogue is so, I feel like, realistic to how
Yeah.
couples talk.
I like his file cabinets were his desk lamp.
Oh, yeah. It was a nice room for the underground.
Yeah, right.
For the
But
Next to a
that-
window, next to a window, and
That was I got so worried about what Carmen's going to be asking and how many times she's going to be asking him for, like, when does this favor wear off?
I mean, they're more of like
Never.
a friends
She's
with
the
benefits
cartel.
situation.
She's the cartel. It's never going to wear off. It's going to come to a head between her and Polaris. The only thing is, it's weird because the cartel has mutants working for them, and they also have the I guess the nice little one up on everyone by having cops and politicians and stuff on their payroll. So they could prove to be a great adversary or a great friend depending on what she wants him to do.
I think this is going to lead him to finding out some really crazy information. Like, because the cartel thing has to be a negative, but you have to find some bit of the good, otherwise the storyline doesn't make sense. Like, there's no point in doing it. So they're going to find a useful mutant. They're either going to find the location of an X-Men, or they'll be able to team up to battle Sentinel services or something like that. I'd like to think that the good comes out at the expense of bad, and then they use Dreamer or something to completely wipe Carmen's mind
Yeah.
clean. And she just turns into like a mind-wiped zombie or something.
Yeah.
That could help. Or, just as long as you put in something where it's like, my debt's repaid. And then,
But
send her
you
on her
also
way.
know that they're going to use this as a relationship stopgap between him and Polaris. Like, there has to be that whole third wheel.
Drama.
Yeah, so Dreamer has to get involved because things are getting weird.
Ooh.
Yeah.
While
Again,
the child is coming.
yeah, while the child is coming. Again, people, please hit that thumbs up if you're watching the video, and then after the video live stream ends, please comment on the video afterwards so we can reply to your comments. We got about 5 minutes left. If there's anything else you guys want to go over, I think we pretty much covered it all. We're having a lot more mutants coming there now, so next week we're gonna have a lot more mutants.
A packed house, if you will.
We're gonna have a huge budget for special effects next week. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like something's gonna happen more with the progression of the Dr. Roderick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Campbell,
I
Dr.
forgot
Campbell,
to, forgot to
Dr.
bring that up.
Campbell, Garrett Dillahunt, yeah.
So we forgot to talk about Jace.
Yeah.
So Jace goes back to work even though he's on a mandatory leave because of his emotional
I do what I
instability.
want.
Pretty much, yeah. So he basically just
Unhinged.
waltzes in there, calls the doctor, and the doctor brings in sunken-eyed Steve Buscemi man to use the power of looking sullen to convince Jace to just allow him to do anything.
But he had that tattoo.
Yep, on his hand, yep.
Which is the same symbol, right? We've been seeing.
I don't think people realize the doctor's where he is.
That Pulse had.
Yeah, right.
The same
so
tattoo that
he
Pulse
must
had.
be someone who was
Some version of
I
a
know
mutant
he's a
or-
mutant,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. What I think his power is, I think that mutant's power is the power of inconspicuousness. I don't think people even were aware that the doctor walked into the room at the end. I don't think people are aware that the doctor's even there.
Yeah.
I think that mutant is completely
Or
hiding.
how do we
him.
know that the doctor isn't a mutant?
We
That's
don't.
kind of like experimenting on other mutants, similar to like Mr. Sinister, which is, guys, don't worry about that part. It's just
So you're saying the doctor is Siler and this is just Heroes again?
It's just weird.
Okay, see, I'm just
No.
gonna
Like
stop.
he's collecting powers.
Yeah, I'm stopping with that line of thinking because I just
Oh,
don't want
boy.
this to become Heroes.
yes,
It's
yes,
weird
you're right.
because that guy that the doctor brought in with him has that tattoo. So it made me confused because I thought the Sentinel services were the ones doing that.
No.
Nah.
So that's the thing is the doctor says you're already using some of our technology.
okay.
So we
Missed
know
that.
that the drones were made by them. We know that the drones were made based on mutant
DNA or
technology.
whatever,
Okay.
yeah.
So it makes sense that Pulse was also a member from the doctor's staff or whatever the doctor did. And so the tattoo basically is was it Hunter? What do they call Hounds?
Hound.
The Hound
Yeah.
program. And somebody commented on our video last week that the Hound program was something that had to do with converting mutants, which is kind of cool. So this guy, as soon as you see those tattoos, I think you can assume they're just a mutant that's mind controlled at
Yeah.
the moment.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to throw guesses out, we have 3 minutes. What do you guys think his power is? Because I think it's the power to walk in any room and hide the presence of whoever he wants to.
You know what? That wouldn't be a bad, because now that I'm thinking about that shot, nobody did really like.
Nobody
I
was
guess,
like, why is this
regard
guy
him.
here?
Yeah, nobody really, addressed him. So maybe he is able to kind of be hidden when he wants to be.
So he's got the power of like stealth.
Yeah, he
Well,
has,
he's like a cloak
he has
and,
the
like-
Metal Gear Solid power.
Snake.
Ivan Soda says Dr. Campbell is a mutant in the comics.
Oh.
But I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do it.
Right.
He certainly looks like a strong dude.
But I'm starting to think what you said, I don't know, 2 or 3 episodes ago, where you were like, he was the reason for the disruption.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like the striker. He's
Yeah.
they mind control. It was a hound mutant
that did
set
the
off
blast.
the blast.
Yeah.
To blame
Yeah.
the mutants to be able to light that gunpowder on this whole
Yeah. political
agenda.
Because it was already at a tipping point. All he needed was a mutant to control, and then there we go. So I think, I'm thinking it's going to go your way, where you like Jace finds out. He's, now he doesn't know which way to turn, and then he ends up kind of working with the mutant underground. Sort of.
The only reason I disagree with the stealth thing is, wouldn't he have taken the Strucker files if he had that power to just get it? If he had the power of stealth with his little hound buddy.
Again, he has the power to. Again, this is all an assumption.
Yeah.
But I don't think he has keys. I don't think he can break open locks. I don't think he
Yeah.
can hack things. I think it's literally just.
If he's with someone.
It's kind of like Purple Man and Jessica Jones. He can erase the fact that people knew that he was there.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the only reason I'm making that assumption is because this seemed like a main Sentinel Services mission, like briefing room.
And nobody really addressed him.
Nobody really addressed
He was
the
sitting in the
random-
back
The random
and,
dude without clearance that's there.
True.
That's just a doctor.
Yeah.
True.
It was weird. Unless, it was weird because nobody even really looked at him. But maybe it's because Jace was really bringing it. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't care. I don't care about no court order.
The other thing that makes that interesting to throw predictions out there is that means he could walk into the mutant underground and have a conversation with one person and walk out without anyone even knowing.
That's true.
And so if you're going to say that he wants the children, if he finds out where they are, turning one of them against each other might be a very villainous thing to do.
His only identifiable characteristic was that his eyes were black, right? Did I see that right?
No.
That right?
Yeah.
I felt like his
Did it look
eyes
like
were
his-
black, and that was the only thing.
I don't think his eyes were black. They were just really sunken in, like around
okay.
his eyes. It didn't-
Maybe. Yeah.
But you
Bad
also
lighting that day.
You also saw that on Pulse, though. When you see Pulse, he just looks extremely
he did look like
tired and
vapid
haggard.
or whatever.
Like, maybe like they're being injected with stuff to keep them.
They're
under, like,
emaciated, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
yeah, I
okay.
hope it is temporary. That's a good point. I hope it's that they have to be constantly checked.
Yeah, keep them in like some sort of a zombie state.
Thunderbird
or-
almost knocked him out of it.
I don't know. I think the duck. I mean,
Because
but
for a second he was like, huh? And then his powers
Yeah.
turned right back on.
And people in the chat are talking about the mutant baby that they're going to give birth to with Polaris and Marcos. I really don't want this to turn into the X-Files, guys, so let's not talk about babies being the main focus of the series.
Yeah, we have like 8 months.
Oh, God.
hey, I mean, I gotta refer to a different show, like The Walking Dead. Kid hasn't shown up yet. Like, they even said like this season the kid won't show up. So like, I think it's a good thing we won't see this kid show up for a while.
Yeah, they'll probably either she'll lose the child, unfortunately, and that's a horrible thing. But TV shows do that to kind of like
Keep the
it's to
character.
have their cake and eat it too.
This
I mean,
is
you're
just
not.
gotta-
You're not in a safe place.
Yeah.
so-
It's just
So-
a prequel to The Incredibles, guys.
So-
It's just a prequel to The Incredibles.
So either
baby's
she
gonna have
loses the
every power.
child,
True.
or she has the child is taken, and then they're able, and I know this sounds bad, but they're able to have the show without a baby slowing them down. And then
Or
you check
Kate
back
will
in
just
on the
be
baby.
the babysitter.
Oh,
And that's her
you know
role.
what?
Yeah, right.
Cable comes in. I mean, Cable was protecting. Was it Rachel Summers? I don't know. Who was that baby? I don't know. He was carrying around a baby, and I mean, he did a good job. He has a big gun, and he shoots people that want to kill the baby. So I mean,
All right.
good work.
Oh, it's like
Now,
that,
now we've gone to the deep
Now,
end.
yeah, we got on the deep end.
All right.
Guys,
Comics
where-
is convoluted.
Where can we find you on Twitter so we can catch up with you in all your insanity?
All right, you can find me on YouTube at NerdSoul, NERDSOUL, and online at One Youngster, which is ONEYOUNGSTA.
Hey.
And you guys can find me on all social media at Rick Hong, RICKHONG. And in about an hour, I'll be doing Netflix news.
What's up, everyone? You can follow me at Steph Sabraw on Instagram and Twitter.
And you guys can find me online at lowercase STPHENLEMIEU capital X, obviously.
Capital X all the time.
Again, just a shout out, because apparently 5 people in the chat also asked, is we do this on Sundays because it's the only time we could do it.
Yes.
But think of it as a refresher before the next episode. Guys, this has been our review for Gifted Season 1, Episode 6, Got Your 6. Again, tweet us, talk to us about the new episodes as they come. And yeah, if I could leave you with any recommendation, go see 3 Billboards Past Ebbing, Missouri, because it is a really phenomenal movie. That's what I'll leave you on today. Have a great night, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Watch your 6.
What?
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.